Let's do this.
All right, baby.
Damn it, I missed it. It's New Year time.
New Year, first of the new year.
New Year time.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, fella.
New Year. What is it? The 14th? Wait, what does it say on here? Is it the 14th or 13th? It's the 13th.
I believe, yeah, it is the 14th. Wow, can you believe that?
13th of Jan. Took us a while to come back.
Yes.
Here we are.
Yes, it did, yeah.
To be fair, though, we haven't really... I mean, we've seen each other, but not... I feel like whenever we've seen each other recently, and hopefully this doesn't keep happening, because I love you.
Right.
But I feel like whenever we've seen each other, it's just been for like a big event thing. And like we had Mitch's birthday last week. We had Mitch's party on Saturday. So whenever I see you, it's like a big it's like an event thing.
Well, we literally do have this Saturday, so...
That'd be really good.
That'll be nice and chill. But anyway, folks, it's the new year, but 2021... However, coronavirus is not over, unfortunately. So
no, it didn't stop.
I don't want to necessarily talk about it, but that's just to say stay safe, everyone, and we hope that everyone is safe and prosperous. We are, thankfully, thank goodness, but we know not everyone has that luxury. So passing that on, but we're going to get right into the show today. Our first topic, we put on something a little bit scandalous because I think this year we're gonna try a couple of different things with the show.
Yeah, we're now a scandal show.
Yeah, I know. I don't necessarily. Yeah,
things.
This might not be the lane that we choose to stay in, but we're gonna start off by talking about this Jeffree Star news. You heard about this?
Yeah.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
So for those unfamiliar, Kanye West obviously is a well-known figure. He's a rapper, musician, producer. Him and his wife Kanye have just recently announced they are getting a divorce. Or I don't know if they announced it, but it was heavily rumored.
No, I think it was rumored, and I think him put up an Instagram post, I believe, about her ring on. Highly alluding
essentially to the fact. Confirming it as far as Instagram rumors go.
Yeah, and then as great TikTokers do, that is a fucking fat joke, by the way. But someone on TikTok,
the joke is that it's impossible for TikTokers to be great.
Yeah, pretty much.
I see. Okay.
In my humble opinion. Unpopular opinion, should I say? But now she dead set just lied about it, and it became. So
someone started a rumor,
news.
like a trend, to say that.
Isn't that scary?
So again, Jeffree Star, for anyone unaware, is a massive beauty guru.
Yeah.
Big YouTuber, but I mean he's past the point of just being a YouTuber. I mean he's a businessman. He is a business owner.
Fucking rich.
Oh, it's insane.
Like he is like.
It's
so rich.
No, it's beyond.
Makeup is a massive, like, if you make it in the makeup industry,
stupid wealth.
You're set for lifetimes.
That's true. That
Not
is
just
like
your life, lifetimes.
That is the business. It's not. It's like McDonald's with real estate. It's like the food is just what you see, but the real money is the fucking.
Well,
business.
makeup is not cheap, and especially like all those like what they call them panels they sell.
The palettes.
The palettes, that's it, yeah. Like even remember the one they did with Shane, well, the one that Jeffree did with Shane.
Yeah, the conspiracy palette, yeah.
Yeah, that I actually knew girls who got it.
That aged like sour milk though.
Yeah, and the thing as well, but Jeffree's also a very like controversial figure.
Yeah, no, it's so that's what was scandalous about it. Jeffree's obviously very controversial. I think the meme. In all honesty, I think it was more of a meme, but I think the meme was that either they fucked or that Jeffree just sucked his dick. Was that it?
Yeah. So, well, that's the thing. Before I watched a part of his video that he did about explaining
who Jeffree Star.
Yeah, but I saw he did a Snapchat. I don't know how he does it because when he Snapchats, he's gonna carve a load of people, but he doesn't give a fuck. He just like. He's like so
open and just
but then like all I can think about is when he stops filming and like his face drops and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna edit this and cut."
Yeah, that's so true. He literally
cut a little beginning bit where I don't speak and the cut a little end bit where I'm pressing off.
That's the funniest thing about. You can
just hear it replaying in the background. Like
that's the funniest thing about influencers, especially influencers who are like turned on, like not turned on, but who they are on. When they're in front of a camera, the moment that their camera's off or like they have to sit down, they're the most boring people ever.
Yeah, but basically he said like, I've had a lot of rappers' dicks in my mouth, but he ain't one of them.
God.
Apparently, well, I believe he was dating someone for a long time until last year.
I see. So Jeffree's on the market.
Yeah, I think he's on a bit of a rebound. Like,
Would you be Jeffree's sugar baby? You reckon? You'd like?
Nah.
I mean, he could set you up for life.
He scares me generally. I would generally want to have him on the
you
podcast
you wouldn't have to work a day in your life if you married him. Like,
first of all, I don't think he would want to, but also, he generally kind of scares me. Not for the fact that he's transgender, more the fact that like I just think that like he's so powerful, like.
Oh yeah.
Like if you were dating him and like something went wrong, like he could like fuck your life up. I reckon he would.
No, that's true, and he wouldn't hesitate to do that. He would just take you out.
He's like a firing squad, man. Like if you fuck him over, like
a
Tati
one-man
or
firing squad,
literally, like Tati Westbrook and James Charles, like they crossed him.
They got the snipey,
like,
man.
Boom,
just
like,
absolutely assassinated. Yeah,
gone. Like like you don't want to fuck with Jeffree Star. But no, I would love to. I'd love to interview him because I think he's like Logan and Jake. Like I don't like them, but you can't help but be amazed by what they've done.
They're the kind of people who are just fascinating figures, you know.
Yeah.
And that is true. You know, for a lot of people who are that famous and that sort of insane, they are just fascinating figures, even if they're assholes. Like,
especially since like
they can both be true.
You know, he is like transgender. Like for him to get to that level of power as a transgender person is like, you know, it's really big for the community as well.
Is he? I don't know. Is he transgender or is he just?
Maybe I'm sorry.
No.
I actually don't know.
I don't know either. I'm unsure either.
But
I'm not sure if he is or if he's just like always in drag.
I don't know because he dresses like a woman.
Yeah,
but that's not really for me to say that he's a transgender. I'm sorry if that's not true. Maybe he is just gay and likes to wear women's clothes. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Regardlessly, like it's just his power kind of like makes me go,
I did see something because I know him and James Charles do a similar thing where they like you said, they put on makeup, they dress up like women, but I think they still identify as men.
Right.
But
yeah.
I saw a Twitter post of someone who saw James Charles's Christmas photo. Did you see it? It was an absolute thirst trap. I'll get it up if I can. It was just like
the only thing I saw from James over Christmas was his cringe TikTok he did with the D'Amelios.
Oh god,
do you see his face like how many people are dying in LA every day?
Yeah, and then it's James Charles
boogieing to a Christmas tune for a TikTok.
Man,
which by the way got like
LA TikTokers
so many views, like literally dozens of views. Millions and millions and millions and millions of views. It's crazy. Like the power of these like influencers over this whole coronavirus pandemic is just ridiculous. Like especially people like James who just aren't taking it seriously.
Oh what? And then they spread it and then it gets everywhere just because they.
Well, did you see that tweet the other day? I liked it. It was so fun. It was like 4 panels. Like one was a nightclub, one was a restaurant, and one was like a party or something. And then the next one was like an Instagram post saying like, it breaks my heart to say this, but I don't know how, but I got COVID.
Oh, God. I know. I've seen so many of that.
I don't know how, but I got it. Maybe it's all the socializing you've been doing.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find this.
We can't really preach because we don't know what it's like because we only had like 3 months of not even quarantine, really. I mean, the pub's closed, which was the worst part, but we didn't have to. We're not really stuck in with a massive pandemic, so I don't want to judge too much, but is it that hard? No way, is that...
Here we go. So this is what I'm looking for. So this is... I
see.
This was James. He posted this photo on the right for anyone watching. And it looks like a girl. It looks
you would
like
not be able to tell.
And I saw a Twitter post where someone like sent...
Not be able to tell.
He sent that photo to a mate of his and his mate replied something like, man, those LA girls are so fucking hot.
Who's that, babe? Who's that?
Yeah.
And,
Jesus Christ.
And he told him, and he told his friend, and he was like, bro, why you got to do me like that? Like, that's just rough.
Dead set. That dead looks like a girl.
But that's beauty. That's beauty. Maybe we'll pivot. Maybe we'll make this podcast a...
Well, anyway, it was false. Just that the girl lied about it.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to get sued, yeah. So
I don't think Kanye's even spoken about it.
Kanye and Jeffree did not fuck. I saw some memes saying that... Who's the auntie? Chris? Is that it? That Kris Jenner started the meme. She's like, you know, trying to take Kanye down on behalf of Kim, which, you know, sisters got to look out for each other. So I respect that, you know.
Jesus.
Are they sisters or are they cousins? Or are they aunts? I don't know. It's all very confusing.
That family literally makes me want to cringe. I try and keep
you don't keep tabs.
As much as possible, to be quite frank.
The next thing that we wanted to discuss, and this is
research. This is a research thing, by the way, for research purposes only.
Oh, this next topic is purely a scientific endeavor.
We should have actually watched it
for research, so that we know what we're talking about.
Well, I've heard descriptions.
I see. So what we're referring to keep you guys out of suspense is basically the Belle Delphine sex tape finally dropped over Christmas. I was on Christmas Day. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, we would have gotten it on Boxing Day.
Time zones and that, you know. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Like a Doctor Who Christmas special. Whenever it would air on Christmas Day, we'd get it on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Doctor Who doesn't do Christmas specials.
Because she is in England, like, so her times would literally be.
Sorry, mate.
After
Doctor Who doesn't do Christmas specials. I don't know what you're talking about.
You like Christmas special Doctor Who? What the
Jesus. No, so yeah, Belle dropped her sex. So again, Belle Delphine. For anyone who is unaware,
she dropped her panties and something went up.
How would you describe Belle Delphine? Is she a streamer? Does she stream video games, or is she just an OnlyFans girl?
I feel like
I think she was a streamer, a video game streamer.
I don't think she was a streamer. I think she kind of she started off as like a
no, because remember she sold the gamer girl bathwater, so she must have been a gamer in some way.
I think she just posed with like a few photos with like a controller.
Right. So because she is like the epitome of like a branded like figure. You know what I mean? Like she just has a brand and that's it.
Well, yeah, she started off as quite a troll. Like obviously she did like all these public stunts where like she pretended she got arrested, like she did all this shit, like she purposely like disappeared for like a month.
Yeah, I know.
And
she made massive news. You know, if you don't know who she might is, you might still remember that there was the whole Gamer Girl bathwater thing, and that was her, and she made huge headlines by doing that. People were like, "Oh,
and huge amounts of money."
E-girl selling bathwater for like it was like $30 per like tiny little case. It was crazy.
Here's the thing though, like, do you ever question what people did with that? Did they keep it? Did they?
For my own sanity, I did not question that.
All I can think of is they like. Forgive me for saying this. I'm sorry if it's too coarse, but all I can think of is they use it to like jerk off with, like use it as a
yeah, I don't know. I wonder if, and I don't say this to disrespect you, my good friend, but I wonder if like any collectors just kind of, you know.
Well, that's the thing though.
I mean, that's what you do, not with bathwater, but you do that with like bottles of alcohol. You'll get it, but you won't open it. You know. So I wonder if they did that.
I should say that it comes with like an actual seal. So
the Gamer Girl one. Okay,
so it's like you can crack the seal and then it's open, but like.
Have you opened yours?
No, not yet. Kind of sitting on the counter. I don't think even if I wanted to, I could get one.
That's what's crazy as well, is that it actually sold out, which it's so funny that it's just water. Like there's an infinite amount of water available and she sold out of water.
I still don't get how like legally she did it. Cause it's even when like you go to like airports and stuff, you can't bring. In certain places, I remember you couldn't bring like outside water.
Yeah, but like think about you can buy like lotion from like shampoo from an international seller, you know. So it's the same idea. You could buy a liquid from someone internationally, you know.
Right. Yeah. I remember going to an airport once.
But I agree. It's weird. It surprises me that she even could do that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, but she notoriously didn't post any nude photos for years. Like she would just post lewds.
Yeah, so that was part of her brand was that she started to get a bit more frisky, a bit more. Or no, sorry, the word is risque, but frisky, risque, you know, whatever you want to call it. And she started to reveal more of her body and sort of get a little bit more funky. And she had an OnlyFans. She is massive on OnlyFans, probably one of the top creators.
It's funny. I think they checked on the H3 podcast. She's not that high up, but she's high up, but she's not as high up as you would think. Like, I remember they listed the number one person, and I didn't even know who she was.
But what's her monthly charge? Do you know?
Oh, I think it's about probably maybe $30 or something like that.
Jesus, because that's the thing. I mean,
it's also not news.
She doesn't necessarily have to be the highest.
Not anymore. But do you know what I mean? I feel like people were buying it. I feel like the reason why, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's huge on TikTok. I just don't think OnlyFans. So I feel like the reason why she isn't in like the top is because she doesn't post nudes. Well,
nudes. Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. But again, what I was going to say is that it doesn't necessarily matter if she has the most followers, but it's like, how much does she charge? Because you could have a relatively small but loyal fan base, and if they buy, if they pay the top subscription package and they buy all your merch, then you're set,
Well, I heard as well, which is good, the video is covered in the monthly payment. So normally, sometimes you can pay for the subscription.
Yes, that's right. But there are
like,
specific,
if you want access to this
special
video,
ones,
you have to pay an extra this. So she just released the video.
That's what's crazy with these OnlyFans girls, man. They charge like freaking bank
Have you
for
ever
it's not that much per month, but it's like you pay it and then you get certain stuff, and then there's other stuff that you can't even get with your monthly subscription. And you have to pay extra. It's like that Disney Plus had that fucking Premier Access shit.
Yeah.
It's like having to pay for
DLC.
Premier Access for titties. Like it's
like,
just insane.
Like a DLC, There's some girls I see on Reddit and I'm like, you're so fine, but I don't know if I want to pay like $30 for.
Well, I just don't understand. I think for me, anytime I've ever considered buying a subscription to anything sexual or anything, not that I've ever properly considered it, but if it has ever crossed my mind, it's been in like a excuse my coarse language, but like in a horny rage, so to speak.
And then it's like the post nut clarity.
It's the post nut clarity. Exactly.
Like
yes.
And then you drop it like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I almost did it. I'm sorry.
But that's right. It's like you get that post nut clarity, and you're like, okay, I why would I ever consider buying this?
It's a lot of money.
It's like, it is a lot of money, and it's a lot of money, especially compared to the. And look, I don't mean to shit talk sex workers or anything. Obviously, if you're an artist and you're a creator, you should be paid for your value and your work. But and I believe that across the board, YouTubers, OnlyFans, TikTokers, whatever. I try to be consistent with that. But considering how much free stuff there is available, and like, again, no offense to the art form of OnlyFans content, but like it's you only need to jerk off for a certain amount of time, and then you come and then you're done. Whereas like, for example, I could listen to like YouTube almost all day. Like even if I was doing stuff, like I could just have a podcast in on my earphones, So like there are other mediums that are like really long-term content. Whereas like I feel like OnlyFans stuff is such a short term. You just jump in, finish off, and then jump out.
It's a lot of money each month, I think.
And that's what I mean. It's so much money. It's so much money for something that you're just going to jump in for like half an hour and then.
I don't know. It's like how
fuck off for a day.
I think the girls like post like sometimes like once a day or something like that, but it's still like, I don't know.
Well, there was that guy. I don't know if you heard. There was that guy that sued Twitch. It's slightly unrelated, but it's still similar. He sued Twitch because he claimed that he developed like an addiction to masturbating and like looking at tits because of like Twitch thoughts, basically.
Right.
And in the lawsuit, it said like, again, I really don't want to, make anyone cringe too hard here, but like he had like chafed his penis like horribly and like really, he had like strained eyes because he couldn't stop looking at titties. Basically, it was obviously like a bogus lawsuit. Like it was obviously dumb.
But isn't that why people they really cut down on people doing the whole like titty streaming?
Yeah, I mean, look, Twitch, I don't think wants that sort of reputation, but I'm just saying you could. That guy could make that same argument about OnlyFans.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, Pokemon, she's so beautiful. I can't possibly look at her and not think she's not beautiful.
I'm sorry. She's a cutie. Yeah.
And if people think that's wrong for me for saying that, it's like that's just what it is. I'm sorry, she is.
No,
I wanted to say though, I probably won't hit her up because the last time I hit up a girl did OnlyFans, she didn't reply to me. To be fair to her, she stopped doing.
You won't hit up Pokemon.
No. I hit up someone I knew.
Right.
We matched on Tinder, and I had her Instagram, and I don't know if you remember, but she
yes, and then you found out she had OnlyFans.
But then she stopped. So I think when I messaged her, she was probably considering not doing it.
Oh, I see.
So
I
either
see.
way, I do know someone now who I was very close with back in the day. Not so much anymore. But she started, and I don't know, but the whole thing just really interests me. Actually, I know two people who do it.
Interesting. Do I know them?
You know one of them. We went to school with one of them. We were like kind of not really a thing.
Can we go first name, or is that? You can tell me after.
I said her first name before on the show, and I felt really bad because I don't want to get it the wrong way.
No, that's fine. That's
the
okay.
person. She had a baby recently.
Oh yeah. Oh, so she has an OnlyFans.
But look, here's the thing.
Interesting.
She put out just like
No, because I know who you're talking about.
She put out a post and she put it on a story, and I respect her for saying this. She was like, she's like, sorry to my family, which is a bit of a shame. But
she said sorry. Oh, that's sad.
She said sorry to her family, but she was like, I got a future to provide for my child, and I was like, that's fair enough.
That's sad because I mean, if she is getting judged for that sucks because you don't want to be.
I don't know who she's referring to. But that's what she said. But there's her and there's another person.
Well, we know a couple of. Well, I don't know how many people we know that have become strippers, but there are a few girls from our year who have become strippers. One especially who you might know who I'm referring to.
Yeah.
I think
quite frankly, I do.
This is how I think. I only say this because you post a lot on Instagram, but basically, I think if she started something like an OnlyFans, she'd be very successful. I mean, she's got a good body. She's like, I think she kind of lives that lifestyle that
she's in great
could benefit from, or not benefit, but suits the OnlyFans life as well. You know what I mean?
Well, I know this girl who does it, and
I say that purely from a business point of view. Okay, I'm trying to help this girl get some money. I'm not trying to.
It's a hard conversation how that sound like a complete fucking creep. But
I'm not trying to sound like a creep. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying you are.
There's some financial opportunity that maybe she could benefit.
I'm just saying for both of us, it's hard to say this stuff about sounding like a creep. But yeah. Anyway, like the video apparently was like 12 minutes long or something like that. What's quite bizarre about it is that there is a man in it, but he's dressed as a teddy bear.
Oh God!
So he's like doing a doggy and stuff, and
because Belle did a
teddy bear costume.
She did some
schlong hanging out.
Oh my goodness! She did a music video where she was grinding on a teddy bear. Is that?
I do think that's the reference.
Okay, I see. So he was dressed as a teddy bear. So his dick was out.
Yeah. So it's a human schlong.
Not a teddy bear schlong.
No, it was actually a real human being.
The costume didn't come with a teddy bear dick. Okay.
No, it didn't.
Interesting to know.
Apparently, as well, she was like masturbating with one of those tentacle dildos.
Oh, okay.
Which aren't my cup of tea, but fair enough.
Well, because she does a lot of that Japanese shit. She does the whole where they're like.
So she was
whatever.
doing a lot of that while skiing. But according to Zach from H3, the money shot wasn't great.
What was it? It was just
again, excuse my French and sorry for being crude. Apparently, it wasn't a huge load.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I don't know if girls take that as a.
I wonder what the go with in pornos is for like reshoots. Can we get that shot again?
Just do it again. That's the problem though. Like once you've done it once, like your second one would be even less.
It'll be like, no, but I mean, even you come back on the next day or something, and it's like.
I know. I wonder how.
Will the viewer be like, "Oh, her hair changed"? Or whatever. I mean,
it's like insane B at 5:02.
Yeah, you can tell that her hair has changed. Literally. This was clearly a reshoot.
Well, as well, which I thought was interesting. The bloke was apparently wearing a Johnny.
Was he a porn star?
We don't know who he is.
Okay.
There was a huge rumor it was KSI.
I do believe because
KSI dropped a music.
Oh,
video.
Was it a black guy?
No, because KSI dropped a music video on Christmas Day, but they both just happened to tweet on the same day. On Christmas Day, shit's gonna go hard or something like that. So people were thinking.
Thought it was joined.
KSI and Belle Delphine were gonna have sex, but KSI was just referring to a music video.
Well, I don't know this for a fact, but it wouldn't surprise me if because Belle lives in the UK, right? It wouldn't surprise me if in the UK they have mandatory like condom laws for porn.
Right.
A lot of states in America have that as well. That's why
I don't know if he did wear one, but there was apparently there's rumor going around that Belle was going to sell it with the nut in it. No,
right, I see.
Apparently there was a money shot, so that wasn't
okay. No. Well, no, she wouldn't sell it for the nut. She would sell it for her own stuff on it. No, because this is an
That
interesting.
must be illegal.
This is a bit of an interesting fact. Is that in America there are quite a few states who have made it mandatory to wear a condom while you film a porno. So I'm pretty sure California is one of them. But in I can't remember what state it is, but there's one state in America where it's like, there are multiple states, but there's a few states where it's legal to shoot porn without any sort of protection. And like, that's like the porn capital of America. Do you know what I mean? Because that's where they go to film all the stuff because like, no one wants to see
I know
porn with a condom. Like
the first sexual things you
it's
really
just a
see
weird
is
dynamic.
Porn. Like, I don't know about you, the first things I ever saw sexually was like mostly, first of all, it was TV and then it was porn. But then like when you don't see people
like sex
condoms,
scenes,
it gives you like this idea that you shouldn't wear one.
Yeah, I think part of the reason they make that law is for two reasons. I think partly the first reason is because it sets that in your mind that okay, sex is supposed to be the condom, which is a good sort of message to send, and it's also I think about keeping the actors and the actresses safe. Yeah. Because obviously the producers or whoever's commissioning the video, if they can get the actors to not wear protection, they'll be like, oh, don't wear protection. Our audience doesn't like that, So I think it's also about protecting the actors. The irony, though, if I remember correctly, is that I think part of the reason the states that haven't made it mandatory to wear a condom are like more conservative states because they don't want to make laws about porn. Like in their mind, porn should be illegal. So they're like, we can't make any laws like that acknowledges that porn gets made. Does that make sense?
Right.
Whereas so California does have it. I'm pretty sure California has it mandatory to wear a condom because California's like, well, people shoot porn here. Like we're not going to deny that. So we're going to make sure it's done safely. But in like more conservative states, they're like, oh, people shouldn't be. Someone's like, will you make a law about porn? They say, porn? Oh, that's disgusting. We can't put that in the law. That would be terrible. But then what ends up happening is like more pornos are filmed in those states because it's like technically legal to film it without any protection. So it's a weird dynamic. But like I said, I wouldn't surprise me if that's law in the UK. I mean, obviously a money shot is fine because you're not having sex.
That's the thing though, like we could have watched this video for research. We could have
and we didn't, but we haven't seen this video. So,
but I'm just saying if we do have someone on, like, where's the line? Like, do you buy their OnlyFans for research? Like, will they take that?
What you mean if you have a guest?
That's what I mean. Like, will they take that weirdly, or would they be like, "Thank you for supporting me"?
I don't know.
I don't know I wouldn't know how to handle it.
That is a tough one.
I see, like Adam22 has like heaps of people on who do OnlyFans, and like to be fair, Adam22 like has his fucking schlong out in every one of his OnlyFans videos with his wife. For research purposes, I did look up his wife, and she's a fine woman. Like, but when I was on those travels, I happened to see because I'd been watching Adam for like nearly a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, isn't it a bit weird that he does this porn and I've never seen any of it? So I looked up photos and I was like, with his wife, and I was like, fucking hell.
It's hard when it's behind a paywall.
He fucked Trisha Paytas with his wife like a couple of months ago.
Jesus.
And they made like so much money from it, like over $1 million for the video.
What? So they charged per
I think so,
view, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was with Am22. On the Plug, which is his wife, who's like a porn star, I believe, or she has like her own OnlyFans, and then with Trisha, and it made so much money. Like they would have made bank from that.
That's wild.
And his wife is pregnant as well in the video, which is fun.
That's a big thing. People like that.
That's why I think it sold so well.
It's interesting how much people like that, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, the way he talks, he never really talks about him shooting porn. Like, he doesn't do it much. But he's more.
To him, to him, I guess that's a job.
He loves to fucking smoke weed and talk about rapping. Which is
like,
cool,
but when we film this show, do we like to talk about work a lot? Like, not really. This is supposed to be our escape. I mean, we might talk about something that happened at work, but generally, we want to have a show that's about stuff that we like outside of work.
Yeah, so I'm getting less and less enthusiastic when people ask me. Because yesterday there was this guy working at my house, and he came up to me and said, "Oh, I hear you do. I hear you a bit of a YouTuber or something." Well, he said I heard you're a vlogger, and quite rightly, I kind of was just like, I'm like more of a podcaster now. I said I do vlog, but I'm more into like just dropping videos whenever I feel like it. I was like, I'm more of a podcaster now. I want to get more into broadcasting. I was just wondering about it, but when people ask me that kind of stuff, I always get so like insecure.
Same.
Over Christmas, you must have gone a lot of questions, as I did. I got so many questions. They're like, so how many hits are you getting? And I was like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. I mean, I sort of shy away from it a little bit. Like I'm
starting to.
But that's, it's hard because I wouldn't say I'm embarrassed by it, but I don't, the podcast I'm quite happy with. Like I'm quite happy with everything we do here on this show, but I don't feel like my output creatively is as I want it to be in terms of, and that also to a degree that includes the podcast because, and we'll talk about this later, but I will be taking more time off of work to work on my creative stuff. And part of that is going to go to improving the podcast. But I don't feel like I'm outputting the amount and quality of creative content that I want to. And so when people ask me about it, I want to talk about it. I want to say, this is what I want. But people generally are so quick to go like, oh, so, you know, it's not that impressive then, is it? You know?
People say that about saying it, I feel like.
Yeah, no, exactly. They hear it and they go, oh, you're a YouTuber. Oh, great. When was the last video you made?
I shouldn't have done this because it's not about this, but Aiden showed me the demographics and the views we got for the Revolution of the Daleks review, and the only reason it did as good as it did is because it was a new episode. Like obviously,
this was for context. This is Connor's Doctor Who podcast.
Yeah, it's a Doctor Who podcast around with Aiden Green, and you know, obviously, like an episode dropped January 2nd, so it was a new episode, and we're reviewing episodes from like 2008. So obviously, an episode that just dropped is going to get more views.
Of course, people are searching for it.
Yeah, but it was hard not to say that because then like. Someone asked me down the pub last week. I was with Mitchell, and they're like, I say to people now that say my podcast, just say I'm into broadcasting. I'm a broadcaster, and he asked me how it was going, and he was like, and I still had been doing a Doctor Who one, and he said, "How is that going?" I said, yeah, you know, we had this many people tune in to our last episode, and it was really good. And I hate that I have to justify it with a number.
I know that's what,
you know what I mean?
That's what sucks. Yeah.
Because and I got a bit more of a response because normally I can just say, oh, you know, a few people tune in. They're like, okay, cool, but yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But then if I say this number, they're like, oh, okay, like, you know, people are watching. I'm like,
I know.
Yeah, but why do I have to justify it with a number? Can't you just?
It's a shame, isn't it? I mean, it's a shame because
disrespect. I'm not saying
obviously, in a way, numbers is part of the goal,
and money as well.
and that's what's hard.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna say that sounded bad. What I was referring to just then when I said money, I meant more like money makes people see it's serious now.
That's what I mean.
What I mean by the goal, though.
No, exactly.
I didn't want to sound like that's the only reason.
But when I say the goal as well, and I think you understand this too, is like that's what people who see us doing it. That's what they're like. Well, if you're not doing it for views and money, what are you doing it for?
If you're not making money, then what's the...
No, exact,ly. And I mean, I think
what kind of investment is this, motherfucker?
You know, we've done it for long enough that it's clearly just a thing that we're passionate about. And, you know, it's funny because I've been in this show recently, this musical for a local community theater, and not very many people, like, the thing is, no one's really asked me about it, and I haven't really talked about it, but a couple of people know that I like have this show and that I've made videos in the past. And Alicia said the other day something like,
my sister?
No, from the show.
Oh, okay.
She was like, hey,
you look like no. I was like, motherfucker, you speak to my sister.
Because I just spoke about the show. I was trying to give context.
Yeah, but I think she would know you're doing it.
But anyway, so she was like, I watched an episode of your podcast the other day and I didn't like it. And I mean, look,
what?
Alicia's like that.
What?
She
Wait, what?
She tries to fucking be cheeky.
Hang on, back off a minute. What do you mean? What episode was it?
I don't know.
This one?
Frankly, I was a bit busy at the time and I didn't want to hear her bullshit, so I was like, I didn't.
Why?
I just said okay, and then I walked away.
I disagree.
But
that's hurtful.
What I was gonna say was, my point is, I feel like we have a we know what we're wanting to do, and we know the audience we want necessarily. And so like, that's okay. Like, we're not necessarily doing this for a mainstream like radio broadcast audience. I think if we were doing that, it would be a bit of a different show. We're doing this for a bit more of an internet savvy person who wants to listen to, who might want to know our specific opinions on certain things.
Well, the proof's in the pudding, man. It's called For a Laugh for a reason.
Well, and that's the other thing. We do it for a laugh. We do it because we like it and what we enjoy it. And look, again, a part of growing a podcast is making it accessible and entertaining to a wide audience. And that is something we will be working on over the next couple of months. I think that's our big thing this year, which again, we'll talk about later. But
it's hurtful.
Look,
it also sounds unnecessary, quite frankly.
It is. And look, she is just that kind of person who says
it did sound like a very baity question. I do respect the fact that you're just like, cool, I'm out.
Yeah, so it's... she wouldn't have meant it to make me feel bad. It would have just been like a cheeky, haha, I could say that.
Someone
that kind of girl, which is fine.
The other day, and she said she was doing research on me, which kind of creeped me out. But she was watching a load of my videos with a friend of mine. There are two girls. One of my friends is a girl. The other girl was a bit interested in me. Right. But she was watching my videos, and my friend was Snapchatting it, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. But then like. And people do it. Sometimes it really annoys me because that girl messaged me and she's like, I said in this video, which I made called, I think it's called 3 Days in Shark Bay. And in the beginning I say, we're going up to we're going up to Shark Bay today.
Right.
And she was just like, it's down. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Like, before people say that stuff, can you just try and do it yourself and once throughout the video and not try and make a mistake?
Yeah.
That's what annoys me when people are like, oh, you said this, but it's actually this. I'm like, yeah. Do you think I intentionally said it? Like,
no, and that's the thing. I mean, people, and I don't want to show Alicia.
It's judging from that outside perspective. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. And I'm not aiming this at anyone specifically, but a lot of people will say stuff, and it's like, look, if you don't find it entertaining, that's fine. If it's not your sort of cup of tea, that's okay. There are people who.
That's bait.
It was bait. No, it obviously was bait. But I'm just saying there are people who enjoy a certain kind of content, and it's okay if you don't, and that's fine. That doesn't make it inherently bad. And look, it's like we were joking about TikTokers before, but like there is a legitimate audience for that. People like that stuff, and that's fine too. Like it's okay to do any sort of thing you want. And if you're going to give constructive criticism, then that's lovely.
My neighbor kind of gave me constructive criticism in a way.
Oh yeah? What did they say?
My neighbor's like 16 or something, and she's lived next to me for like years. I've never ever spoken to her. Like we never crossed paths, which is weird because I've been in my house for like 7-6 years. Like they literally started building their house like a year of us living there, and they moved in like a year later. So I've never spoken to her, which is weird. Okay. She's got like 2 sisters. She's got like a sister, and it's her mom. They live with her like stepdad. But I was walking back from the pub. This was on the 23rd of December, late at night. I was walking back with Mitchell, and I walked past their house, and they had like a bird in their hands, and it was a magpie. It was a bit poorly, I think. Sadly, the magpie died, but we picked it up. Mitchell took his jumper off and put the magpie, and we walked into our house and we put it down. I was looking around the house. I was like, this is next door to me. This is weird. I've never been in here before. And we're walking out, and I was like, I'm Conor. I'm like your neighbor. I don't know if you know me. And she was like, I do know you. Because it's like, my sister said you were a YouTuber. And I said, were? I am. And she's like, you haven't uploaded in a while. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, I was like, fuck, she's clapping back at me. I had a feeling they watched it. I don't know how they found it. Yeah. But I had a feeling because years ago, like maybe 2 years ago, I was walking to my house and they were all like, hey, Conor. And I never gave them my name. And I was like, but it wasn't just her. It was like a load of her friends. And I thought maybe they like had watched videos. I don't know how they found me. But yeah, she clapped back and I was like, okay.
That's hilarious. No, people are going to do that. And look, and
nice girl,
and
though.
Again,
I shouldn't mean it in a mean way.
All of that is fine, and I guess, again, look, part of what we're going to try and do this year is bulk the show up, make it the best it can be. because I think it deserves an audience, and also I think we would benefit from having a little bit of creative pressure, because if we have pressure from an audience to do better, to tweak the show, I think that will result in a better product.
You having a good time?
That interesting concept aside for a second, we had written something else down. So we've gone off track for a bit. We'll return to the scheduled programming for you guys today. Basically, there is a film reviewer on YouTube. There are many film reviewers on YouTube, but there's one film reviewer that's sort of an OG. He's been on YouTube for so long. Chris Stuckmann has nearly 2 million subscribers. He's a very popular film reviewer. You might know him, you might not. That's fine. You might not know him, but you might have seen a review of his. And he recently posted a video which was really, really interesting about leaving the Jehovah's Witness church or religion. I don't know exactly what you would refer to it as, but some people would refer to it as a cult. Yeah. And he made a video about having grown up in that environment and the process of leaving and what that was like. And it was fascinating.
Yeah. So I want to start by saying that I first started watching Stuckmann when he had like 30K subscribers.
Yeah. You're an old fan. You're an OG.
OG, yeah. And if
do you know what year that was, Mel?
I think I said to him today because for some weird reason,
because you might have been following him around the time of, you never know.
Maybe close to it. Nah, not. I think it was maybe a year or two after his quick movie reviews. But it was weird because I spoke to my mum about it today because I was watching the Stuntman video in my room. For some reason, mum was like, "Oh, Conor, you watching Doctor Who?" And I was like, "No." For some reason, she said that, and I was like, "No, I'm." And I came out and I started discussing that there's this YouTuber, which I'm going to tell you now, this YouTuber called Stuntman, who I literally started watching when he had like 30K, maybe even a bit less. And I got into
and again,
him
now he has, I think it's like 1.7 million.
I think it's like 1.8, 1.7.
And so you started at 30,000. So that's sort of old fan.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for him, I found my true love of cinema through him. I think I knew I had it, but it wasn't until I watched his videos I really found my true love for film. And ever since I started watching his videos, I really learned how to respect film.
I think what's great about him as a reviewer is that he encourages really critical thought about film, and he encourages just looking at film through a really just breaking it down and like actually thinking, okay, why did I enjoy this? Obviously, a lot of I'm not saying he's the only person who does this, but I'm just saying, as a young kid, and I also watched him from a fairly young age. That was very helpful in forming my opinions about film and how to assess them and how to actually like what to look out for.
Well, he's also very kind about looking at the whole idea of just being a filmmaker and how difficult it is.
He's very respectful about the fact that even a bad film had effort put into it.
Unless you can really tell the director and writing give a fuck. Which
I mean, look, obviously studio fucking corporate cash grabs are different. But.
And I've taken a lot of his advice on recently when I've had to do the 50%.2 podcast because I am now technically a reviewer and I have to take that into consideration. I have a responsibility. But again, he really taught me how to love cinema, and also he taught me how to be a respectful cinema goer. Because one of my favorite videos of his was his video where he would talk about his bad cinema experiences, and that's when it kind of hit me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I was never one of those kids who would go on their phone in the cinema. I'd always hate it. I would always hate people going on their phones.
No.
I never really self-consciously was like, I don't do that. Why don't I do that? Maybe it's because I love film, but I never really put one and two together. I was like, I just like movies. I love going. I never really thought.
I think the worst I ever got, and I actually remember this, was there was one time I went and I was talking a lot, and that was just because I was actually enjoying the movie, but I was like making jokes to a friend. No. This was when I was young.
Right.
So I was like, must have been like 7 or 8. I was very young.
There's so many funny experiences in this, I swear.
But that's the thing. I was there with a friend, and it was a kids' movie, and like we were just joking. But I remember the adult. I don't think it was my parents, but whoever had taken us, like literally every like 5-10 minutes, was like, "Stop talking." Like they were like really like shitty about it, and I get why now, but at the time I didn't really get why. But like as I got older, same thing. I had that because this was before I even had a phone. So like I'm talking. Very young. But
phone.
When I did start getting a phone and when I started like actually watching cinema, movies and stuff, I remember having the same thing of like, well, why would I check my phone? Like, I'm here in this moment. Like,
Yeah,
it's only
but
2
people-
hours. What am I
don't know,
going to miss? Like,
I would go with my sister a fair bit back in the day. Not anymore. I haven't gone to the cinema with my sister in fucking years. But we used to go, and she would like constantly be texting, and I would go with like friends from school, and they'd be texting.
Yeah.
I know Aiden was pretty bad at it as well. Not maybe not anymore, but he definitely was back in the day. I would never go on it. And that was out of respect of film, but I didn't realize I had that until I started watching this guy. So I have a huge love for him, and I still watch him to this day. It's kind of how cool. It's really cool to see him grow. But I watched the podcast where he came out of as like being a like kind of like ex Jehovah's Witness, and it was a pretty big turn.
well,
in the podcast.
he's also there aren't many YouTubers as well either who have been creating for that long either. Many YouTubers who started around the time he started aren't doing YouTube anymore. They've either moved on or they've crashed and burned, you know? Toby Turner, like so many people.
But yeah, what's great about him as well is like YouTube isn't just like his main thing. Like he's got so many other fish to fry, and I think he's a great example of how you can do it and
do it successfully.
The original podcast, it started off very normal, and I'm not blaming the
So for context, so Chris went on a
which I never see.
He was a guest on a podcast.
Yeah, I never see this before.
Which was surprising to me because
I double toasted. I never seen.
Okay, so he was a guest.
Friends, I think.
Right, and and on this podcast, and so you watched it. So you described what happened.
I watched the whole thing. It was like an hour and a half. I was going to watch it anyway, but then before I watched it, I saw that he made a tweet about it, and he said I opened up about being previously being a Jehovah's Witness. I was like, what the fuck? Like, has he spoken about this before? And when I watched the podcast, like halfway through, like it was really kind of like going down the whole film path, like halfway through, it was just talking about nothing like that. And then the host, and bless him, I don't think he meant to do it, but like he brought up the whole, there's not really a controversy. It was a bit of a meme when like, I believe he reviewed Get Out.
Well, Chris has a phrase or like a saying that I don't know if he says it. He doesn't say it now a lot, but he used to say it a lot. Where he said, "I grew up with this." So like a movie would come out, and he like, let's say Mad Max comes out, and he'd be like, "Well, I grew up with like supercars around or whatever." Like, I mean, he hasn't said that specifically, but he would try to relate to the movie by saying, "I grew up watching blank thing that was in the movie."
Series of films,
and I think you're right. I think it was his Get Out review, and he says. Yeah, he's reviewing the film and he says, I grew up around a lot of black people. And as he says he shows a photo of him with literally just
he's the only
one white guy with a bunch of black people. It's so
he didn't.
It's so funny because it's so unintentionally funny.
I know, that's I felt really bad because like you could clearly tell he was like
he meant it genuinely. He wasn't trying to be
he was like I'm very embarrassed about that and like, oh sorry, I just hit down on the table. He just said he's very embarrassed, and I felt bad. And I don't think the interviewer was trying to be a dick. He seemed like a very nice guy. But that's when, that's kind of just when it all changed in the interview, because he was like, if you want me to be completely honest with you, all those people there at the time of the photo were Jehovah's Witnesses. And he said, apart from a couple of people, the people in the photo still are.
Was he a Jehovah's Witness at the time of the photo?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's the only people you could really hang out with.
Wow. And where did he go? He grew up in Ohio, I think it was. Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so there's all this. I was saying to my mum today, there was so many little tiny hints that something was up.
Yeah. So when I saw his tweet, I wasn't surprised. Like I saw it and I said, "Oh, that makes sense." I actually was like, checks out,
Yeah, but the thing is, but he's a very personal YouTuber.
I don't say that because of I don't necessarily say that because of how he is, but like just subtle things he said and comments he's made about who he was in the past. So it didn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, totally. But he doesn't open up his life a lot apart from the occasional I grew up with, which he doesn't do anymore. One of the things that stood out to me most, which never made sense to me, there was a few things, but the one that stood out to me most was when he said that his dad hates movies. And he used the word hate. Yeah. Hate is a very fucking strong word. I remember the example he used. He said, my dad hates movies, but when he watched the Star Wars trailer, even he was like, the Falcon. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting for a second. This is interesting. So he grew up in Ohio, but he actually still lives there. So he must still live close to his family. But And
Well,
we'll get to why that's an interesting part of his life in a second. But yeah, carry on.
but no, he said that his dad hates movies, which I think I said today when I was talking to my mom. I was like, this guy's a filmmaker. Like that's his career. He's a film critic and he's a filmmaker. And I was like, if your son is a filmmaker, why would your parents be like, I hate movies? You can be like my dad. He doesn't really like movies, but he wouldn't never say he hates them. And one other thing that stood out was when he showed his Indiana Jones like fan made film. A lot of the people who were in it had their faces blurred and their voices distorted. But he said he filmed it with people that he grew up with, which normally, we grew up together. We're still together. I'm not saying the one normally is, but I did scratch my head a little bit about that. But then he later said in this interview that all the people in that video were from his Jehovah's Witness group, which explains why he didn't show their faces or use their voices. It was all distorted. But then the few people that were in it were clearly people who dropped out of the religious group, I'll call it, not trying to offend anyone. But God, yeah, it was really intense. And it sounded awful, and I feel really sorry for the guy. He even said like his mate came out as gay and he was a Jehovah's Witness, and his family's obviously Jehovah's Witness. And he said that there was like a family of five kids, but they were like, we only have 4 children. Man, that is fucking awful.
No, well, that's look, I can't imagine how horrible it would have been to grow up in such an oppressive religion, but I know that Kath grew up in a very conservative religious upbringing, and I know that. I mean, I don't know if she's known anyone who has come out as gay, but I have a feeling if there was someone in the circles that she ran in that did come out as gay, it might have been a similar experience for them, where they get disowned from the family and they basically get considered as, you're not my family anymore, you're not my son anymore or daughter or whatever. And that's horrible and that's terrible and that's very, very sad. The part that was curious to me was that he said his parents joined the religion.
So they've been born into it.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose that's part of what the Jehovah's Witnesses do, is that they go door to door and they actually try to recruit people. So it's not surprising if...
Have you had Jehovah's?
Yeah, I have. Well, actually, no, I'm not sure. I think they were Jehovah's. There were 2 guys who rocked up one day with suits and ties, and I actually spoke to them for like 10 minutes.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, I remember you told me that.
It was quite funny.
They really act very nice and kind.
It was weird because they spoke to me and what was kind of funny is actually they decided to leave.
Where we're going now.
because they were talking to me.
Well, you said you're an atheist.
I don't know if I, whatever, I'll say this. They said something, this was like a couple of years ago, but they said something along the lines of like, do you believe in any religion? I said, well, no, I'm an atheist. And they said,
we're leaving.
They had other questions. No, they had other questions. They were like, do you drink and like, do you do drugs? And I was like, do I ever?
Oh, damn.
And I was like,
you were like year 8, not done any fucking drugs.
No. I'm pretty sure when they came, this was when I had graduated. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it happened and they came. No, this was definitely after I'd left school, because I remember a few days later I was driving somewhere and I saw them walking on the same neighborhood, and I tried to wave at them and they were like, don't want to talk to this fucking guy. But yeah, so they actually were turned off from me because I was like, I guess so sinful that
yeah, I had a similar, literally about 5-minute walk where the shops are, just near your house, which is my local shops too. And I bumped into a guy and he was literally stopping people on the corner. And I said to Alicia, because he walked past him, Alicia's my sister, I walked past him and he was on someone else at the time. And I said to her, I was like, I'll be right back. Because I genuinely just wanted to hear what he had to say. And
and that's why I spoke to them. I literally spoke to them for like 10 minutes. It was interesting.
I was like, so why are you here, man? He's like, I'm here to convert people to my religion. I said, interesting. I said, I'm not trying to judge if that's how you want to spend your time. That's cool. But then he started asking me some more questions too. He asked me if I'd stolen anything. I said no. I've never intentionally stolen anything from a shop. But I was like, just to test how far he would go. I was like, at school sometimes I would like take a pen from someone if I realized. And he was like, I'm sorry, that counts. And I was like, Okay, fine. He would ask me.
He's like, well, that's going to go against your name.
Literally, small thing like that, which I checked. And then, like, he asked me a few other questions, but I can't remember. One of the questions I remember, which was really kind of personal, he said to me, well, no, he said, do you drink? I said, I do drink. And then I think he said,
they asked me that as well, yeah.
Have you had sex with someone who you're not married to? And
really? He asked you that?
It was very forward.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, I have. And he was like, I'm sorry, but you're just not, I can't accept you in. And I was like, okay.
Really?
He asked me if I had sex with someone who I wasn't married to. And I was like, yeah, I have.
And
but I can't say I was like, but it was a very loving thing. It wasn't. And he was like, I'm sorry, but you're not accepted into this religion. I was like, okay, like
that's
fine.
so funny. You're like, I did, but I mean, I barely enjoyed it. Like,
does that count if I didn't enjoy it?
Wow.
Yeah, they're wild. He's not there anymore. I haven't seen him in years. But
was he? What was he? Was he Jehovah's or was he?
So yeah, because he would stand there, he would stop people.
Wow. Yeah, no, I remember because they left me a pamphlet and it had all about Jehovah and all that sort of shit. And I was like, wow.
One kept coming to our house because my dad lost his mum in 2012. And I think in the first half of 2013, my dad was like really depressed. And Jehovah happened to knock on the door. And I think he was just like so desperate for any kind of like help that he briefly mentioned that his mum had passed away. But then that Jehovah took it really like as like his mission to be like, I can convert this man, because he kept coming back like every week.
Oof,
I was coming from school and there was like new pamphlets. I'm like, Dad, just tell him to go away. It's like, oh, but I feel really bad. I'm like, no, just tell him to go away. It's like, I don't believe anything he's saying, but like I just feel bad because he keeps coming back and he's like,
oh my god,
he's like, how are you feeling now about your mum? And I was like, yeah, I'm still upset, but like they would take a little thing like that and try and run with it, and eventually he stopped coming. But I don't know. Weird stuff. I feel really sorry for him, obviously.
Well, it was very interesting
because...
in
a better place, which is good.
One thing that's really interesting to mention is that he mentioned in his video that apparently Australia has done a lot of probing into the Jehovah's Witness religion, cult, whatever you want to call it, and that they have revealed a lot about, or at least they've done a lot of legislating to try and hold them accountable for their sort of actions and the way they treat
a lot of like child sex crimes,
ex-members, and a lot of child sex crimes. And I just got up a Wikipedia page for Cardinal George Pell, and that was a very
that was massive.
That was huge. That was a massive story in Australia. So what happened was,
it's insane. This shit, I can't.
Yeah, so basically what happened with George Pell was quite a controversial case, but I would still, in some ways, I would still call it a win because...
Well, he's out now, isn't he?
He is out now. So essentially what happened was George Pell in the 70s was cardinal, or sorry, he was a cardinal when he was arrested. I'm not sure exactly what his role was in the 70s. I think it says here he was auxiliary bishop... and that sort of thing. He was, archbishop. He was high in the church essentially.
Very high.
And in the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of. Here you go. So he was a priest from 66, and he became a bishop in 87, and he was made a cardinal in 2003. So very, very, worked his way up in the church, the Catholic Church, and he. In the 70s, 80s, supposedly knew a lot about. He was very aware of a lot of child sex abuse that was happening at the hands of priests and Catholic clergymen, but he didn't do anything. So, and there was allegations as well that he had himself abused some children. He was tried in 2018, but it was at the age of, how old is he now? He's 79. So he was 77. He was quite an old guy when he was tried. But what was interesting was more the precedent that it set was that like you actually can charge priests and you can charge cardinals with sex crimes. What happened was in 2020, they acquitted him. I don't know if it was acquitted, but they essentially, the High Court of Australia overturned his conviction. Not necessarily because he was found innocent, but because they didn't think that the evidence provided rendered a verdict of it's something like guilty
Yeah.
without a doubt, or do you know what I mean? Where it's like guilty beyond reasonable doubt.
Doesn't it just blow your mind?
Do you get what I mean?
Like,
but the point is, and sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the point is, what was amazing is like this is in Australia is one of the only countries that's ever arrested a cardinal for any sort of sex abuse crimes. And to my understanding, Australia actually is pretty good when it comes to charging religious organizations with sex crimes, obviously relative to other Western countries. I mean, I know in America, they had the whole Boston Globe spotlight situation. I don't know about the UK, but yeah, Australia, as far as I know, has actually been quite good with that. And obviously they've held the Jehovah's Witness Church accountable as far as we understand. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they get they get away with a lot of stuff. And frankly, Scientology, I don't mean to go on a tangent and everything, but Scientology does as well get away with a lot of stuff because all of these different things that happen are covered and protected under the denomination of like a church or a religion, and they say, well, because we're a religion, we're allowed to have our own way of dealing with things, and because of we're an organized religion, we can discipline our members however we want to. So if we find they're a sex abuser, we can just say, oh, we don't want you in the religion anymore, or in the Catholic Church they can just move them around or whatever, when really that should be dealt with by police. Yeah,
it just always blows my mind that religious groups, which are on paper meant to be kind, loving, accepting people, all these religious groups and most religious people that I've come across, and I'm not trying to make a demographic here, but they're all just been a bit very judgy, very
I do think there are a lot of churches, a lot of religious people who are really well-meaning and really have a lot to say and a lot of positive things to put into the world. Oh boy. That was my beer, folks. But yes, I think unfortunately so much of the hierarchy, so much of the people in charge
But our school was very religious, and that's what turned me off religion. Because when I went to school, when I was in like year 3, I would say I was religious, I believed in God. And then it wasn't until about year 7 where I found it so preachy and down your throat that I had to stop because I just didn't agree with it.
I think our school was, but I will also say our school was, not our school, our teachers were by and large quite secular. Like they were quite, I don't want to say they were atheists because I don't know, but they didn't necessarily let religion bleed into their
I remember
teaching
one teacher.
style.
I remember I felt like I went through a really weird, like depressive stage in year 9 or something like that. And I thought the reason why I was depressed is because I didn't have a religion. This is a true story, by the way. I thought I didn't have a religion. So I told my mum I wanted to get baptized.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is when I stopped. This is when I stopped living. This is my last thing. So I thought the reason why I'm getting depressed is because I don't have a God.
I don't know if you mind me asking this. Had you already been circumcised?
Yeah, why?
Well, I'm just saying maybe you should have considered becoming Jewish.
Ha 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 ha. That's a great joke. But I asked, you weren't with him in year 9. He was my teacher in year 9. You know what I'm talking about? In 9.2?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I just had a bad experience with him, which I used to really like him, but now later on and I know you've had
he taught me, but not.
He just had some very whack and very forward views on religion. I remember.
Yes, he was quite I don't want to say extremist, but I just mean he was very, very into the religion.
For 2 weeks, I tried to have just a minute chat with him just to say, look, I want to get baptized. Do you know who I could speak to? And I was going to say to him, I don't want to do it in front of the school like I know a few people did. I just want to do it.
Really? Wow.
And I tried for 2 weeks to talk to him, and he would never, ever stop. Because every time I went up to him, I would go up to him once a day and be like, hey man, can I have a quick word with you? I can't right now, I got to go. And I swear, it was almost like life telling me not to do it.
Right.
Because I don't want to be baptized. I'm, as like you, an atheist. And it really just...
Who said I'm an atheist?
You said it.
Yeah, I know. I am.
It wasn't until I met you that you told me what an atheist is. And then I wasn't... Now it's going to sound like I was a sheep, but when you told me what an atheist is, I told you, I was like, are you religious? To me. And I was like, nah, but I don't know what to call myself. He's like, you said to me, call yourself an atheist. And I was like, the fuck does that mean? You're like, it just means you don't believe in anything. I was like, interesting. And then from there on out, I classified as one. But yeah, he was supposed to be this person you go to and you're like so loving, but
Yeah.
in like a really bad time.
Well,
for me,
yeah,
I
I mean,
tried to go
teachers
to,
are supposed to provide guidance.
Yeah,
really,
but I swear to God, I for like 2 weeks tried to gauge attention. I told my family I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. I know it sounds not like me at all.
No,
I'm
that's
the least
funny,
religious person ever, but I dead set thought the reason, which is kind of the reason what he would teach me, was I'm depressed because I'm not religious.
Yeah.
Which kind of got into my head, and I was like, whoa, I don't want to get, this is the first depression symptoms I was getting, my first really bad anxiety symptoms.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in therapy at the time. I went into therapy the year after, and I was like, I mean, I made it very clear. One of the first questions my therapist asked me, who I have now, is she asked me if I was religious. I said, no, I'm an atheist. And she hasn't asked me a single question about religion since, which I really respect.
Really?
Unless I bring it up.
That's funny. I don't know if that's ever come up in my therapy, but I remember when I was in middle school, and I would never think this now necessarily just because I'm more mature and more older, but I do remember I went through a very brief period in when I was younger where I remember thinking that like I knew I was atheist, I knew I didn't believe anything, but I genuinely wanted to believe in something.
Yeah,
I was like, I wish I could just believe. And I don't know if it was like me wanting to be, naive or whatever, or wanting to have hope, and again, maybe that was entwined with mental health issues, but I just remember wanting to believe, but just thinking like, but I just can't.
That's what I kind of went through, yeah.
I just don't have that. I just don't have a belief. I just can't, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I believe in certain things in terms of like, do I believe that we can make this show the best show ever? Like, sure. Do I believe that the community theater show I'm in can be very good? Yeah. Like I believe in certain things in terms of like, I'm hopeful, but can I believe in like, an all powerful being like God? I just can't. And honestly, I will say like some of that I think maybe is a bit of narcissism. Maybe that is a bit of like me saying, well, if God was around, then why have I fucking done whatever I wanted so often in my life? Maybe that's it. Like it's obviously faith. I mean, look, faith and belief is obviously a very personal thing, but yeah, I've never been able to buy into it. I remember when I was quite young and I said to my mum, when I was back in the UK, I was like maybe 8, 9 years old. And I said like, Mum, look, I don't think I believe in God. And at the time she was a bit more into religion than she is now. I don't know what she believes now, but I think now she's sort of agnostic at best.
It's all just a bit, I don't know, like, don't you feel like, I feel like they kind of like hang a bit of a carrot on a stick for you.
Well, but the thing is, to my mum's credit, when I told her that when I was like young, she didn't say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. God loves you."
My mum's a bit shocked when I was an atheist.
All my mum said, well, that's the thing. I didn't necessarily say, "Mum, I'm an atheist." I just said, "Mum, I don't think I believe in God." And she just said to me, "Look, if that's true, that's sad because I believe in God and I think he's, a fantastic figure."
Yeah.
But to her credit, she was like, "But if that's not what you believe, then
did I say
belief,
on the podcast? This might have been a long time ago. Did I say on the podcast when I told my ex-girlfriend I was an atheist? She said, "Does that mean you hail Satan?" Did I say that?
Oh, you did. Yeah, you've told us.
Jesus Christ,
that's funny.
That's people get confused. I remember when I told my mum, she was quite upset. I just said no. It just means I don't believe, because bless my mum. Like again, this is what I mean by the kind of like carrot hanging, because like my mum lost her mum when she was like 14. And I think my mum has this idea, and if she wants to believe this is fine, but it's just a bit weird it's in my family, I think, because my mum's not ever gone to church or has never prayed, but she's like, so I feel like I have to believe in something because I want to see my mum again. And I feel like that's kind of what I was taught at school. It's like, like even this teacher who ignored me for 2 weeks, he would say stuff like, "Oh, miracles happened to me. Like I went to go buy this ticket for a concert and it was sold out, but then I happened to have a friend who was selling a ticket and I got it." And I used to be taught that, and I remember back in England, I was like, I would go in my room and I'd pray that if I couldn't find one of my toys, I'd be like, I prayed to find one of my toys. And I just happened to walk out my room and my eye would catch it. I went, what? There's like a Simpsons episode about it where Homer prays to have stuff to happen, but it's just like praying like, I wish I found this.
Yeah.
And he just happens to find it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it is also like that kind of like carrot hanging where it's like, you can get this if you believe in this. And that's
I mean, I
associate myself with.
Yeah, no, I know that my mum was a single mum raising me, and I think that for her during that time, faith was something that helped her through it. And and that makes complete sense to me. Like I completely understand why that would be appealing for her in that time of her life. So anyone who has sort of faith or belief or religion or whatever, nothing off, I don't care. Like you do you. But
when it comes to hurting others, when I draw the line.
That's the hard part. And to loop it back to this whole Jehovah's Witness thing, when it's clear that there is some sort of pain being caused to, and the thing that's the saddest is like, they're causing pain to like a lot of this religious stuff causes people to cause pain and hurt their own family, their own blood, the people you've grown up with, the people who not just that better than anyone else, but like from their perspective, like if you're someone whose family is Jehovah's Witness, that's all you know. Yeah. You only know that. And when they reject you, that is devastating.
He
said
that's making
horrible.
the video will make his dad not talk to him again.
And that's horrifying. That's horrifying
awful.
that well, it's sad to know that it sounds like he doesn't talk to his dad that often anyway.
Yeah.
But then it's sad to think that he would just be never allowed to talk to them again. And that's incredibly
it's really sad.
Sad and disappointing. And that's what generally my view on religion is like, if you want to do it, whatever, I don't care, and let them carry on. But when it comes to hurting people, and again, hurting family, hurting people you're supposed to especially care about, that's where I think it's messed up. And that's where, I don't know what the solution is to that, but that's where I think that these religions need to move a little bit into the 21st century. And it's like, you can still believe what you believe, but like, just drop all the judgmental shit and drop the stuff that is about, saying, if you do this, we can never talk to you again, or we will reject you, and that's horrible. That's just horrible for anyone to go through, just from a human perspective, But it is what it is. We got really deep.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to talk about.
It is a hard thing to talk
religious
about.
Beliefs is going to upset someone.
No, I'm sure. Look, and that's why I try to be so accepting of everyone's, because I say, look, this is what I believe. If you want to believe whatever you believe, that's completely fine. I don't want to look. I think there is a breed of like atheists that's like, oh, you're stupid for believing this. And it's like, look,
I don't think we've ever said that.
If someone believes something, look, I will confess that there was a time in my teens where I think I was that sort of internet atheist, as it's been referred to, where it's like, oh, these idiots who believe this. And it's like, now I've come to realize that that's just a snobby way of looking at it, and that's really snarky and unnecessary. It's like, if people have their faith and their belief, that gets them through the day, that gets them through life, that's fine. I have my therapy and I have films. You know what I mean? So like, I can't judge anyone for what they indulge in to get through life. But yeah, I think it's something that it always pains me to hear about people getting personally hurt by these things that are supposed to be uplifting. They're supposed to be about community and about helping people connect. And it makes people fucking in horrible situations. And anyway, so I think it was a very interesting video.
Yeah, watch it, Chris Stuckmann, YouTube.
Yeah, no, check it out. Actually, if you watch this podcast and you're fascinated by this conversation, you'd be fascinated by his video.
It's really interesting. I reckon you should just watch it.
I don't think we want to go for too long, so we might have to leave some of these.
Do you want to just talk about the Beer Olympics and call it a day?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool, because I think.
So why don't you introduce the Beer Olympics?
Team GB coming at you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have my.
Coming at you.
All right, wait. Give the spiel. I'll get my trophy, my medal.
Oh, cool. Yeah, GB coming at you. We had a Beer Olympics for my best friend Mitchell's 22nd birthday. It was hosted at his house. And it was really fun. It was my first Beer Olympics. Wasn't as intense drinking-wise as I thought it would be. Maybe that's just because I'm used to it by now. And when I say that, I mean, I had a lot to drink if you think about it, but I didn't feel that sauced. But yeah, it was really fun. We played all different kinds of games. Flip card. We did this card game. We had to like suck it through your mouth and pass it to someone else. Sounds a bit weird, but here he is. Yeah, Team GB coming at you. Second place.
Yeah.
And I say this to this day, even though it was a few days ago.
Yeah.
I do think Mitch's team was OP. We had
to a degree they were, yes.
He had Mitch's massive drinker and a great scholar and beer pong player. And then he probably had the second best beer pong player.
Because he had Daniel and Ryan, is that right?
He had his thing. It's maybe a bit controversial, folks. He had Ryan, but then like Ben came over and somehow Ben was playing with them, which I thought was a bit because you know you're not really allowed subs. So Ben was versing our team in beer pong. We lost by 1 cup, by the way. 1 cup. 1 cup. So annoying because like I love the underdogs to win. So even when we were out of the beer pong,
well, we did start last and we ended up coming second. So that's a pretty
David,
good.
Didn't sink it quite.
That's the thing.
Quickly enough.
No offense to our team, but our team.
No offense.
We were kind of the heavyweights on our team. You know, no. I'm saying in terms of why we didn't come first. That's all.
Like it came on the second last one. It came down to a sculling, and I definitely finished before. And then one of Mitchell's friends who was on the sideline and wasn't really playing was like, actually, like she finished before you, referring to Mitch's team.
I remember this, and I remember
thinking like,
I remember internally disputing the results, but I was like, "There's no point."
Because Mitchell was like, an outsider said it, and I'm like, an outsider who just happens to love you as a person and doesn't really like me very much.
Yeah.
So I wonder who he's going to pick without a biased opinion. Like literally, it was very close.
Well,
there was a photo finish.
You know what?
He does like me.
Made me think though was that the result should be the cheer of the team, and our team definitely cheered before theirs did. But
that's how you show.
I don't want to dispute the results.
This guy doesn't necessarily hate me. I don't think he hates me. He hates me strong words. I don't think he likes me much anymore.
Here's what I did say. I was telling, because I told the people at the theater that I won, or that I got second place, and I said to them, I was like, look. The reason I didn't get first is because, we want to be able to have a bit of a comeback next year. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's hope we're on the same team.
So, oh yeah, true. That would be tough.
I'll make sure it happens. But yeah, no, I do think it was a bit biased, but it was very fun.
Here's the thing. If you, me, and Mitch were on the same team.
There you go. But like
that would be unstoppable. No, but that would be unfair though. That would be unstoppable.
2 people on our team couldn't play. 1 didn't come.
Yes, I know. One wasn't drinking. Yeah.
So there were small things here and there, like the extra sub Mitchell had, and then like later on Mitch's uni mate came along and started playing with them as well. A few things here and there, which I think, again, I have to just turn a blind eye.
It was fun though. It was good. It was very fun.
There were a few people who actually shouted at Mitchell that day, who I won't name, who I didn't want to be that person.
Yeah, there was drama.
Yeah, me and Dan kind of at the end of the night just kind of stood around the back of the house and just had a few fucking smokes and listened to some Oliver Tree, and it was great.
Yeah, we were kind of like, let's just remove ourselves a bit from the drama.
But there was so much fucking drama, so much. Like literally, I had to literally. I've never seen a bloke so stone cold passed out. He was on the floor like this, and I had to pick him up.
Talking about me at the end of the night?
No. I had to pick him up in the Uber. And you could tell the Uber driver was not happy about it, but either way.
This was the guy.
Yeah, the guy Mitchell.
Oh my
bless
God.
his heart.
He was so sauced.
I've met him a few times, but apparently he's a really nice guy, and I believe it. He seems like a really nice guy.
I felt bad because I didn't know what to do because I was quite drunk and I didn't want to make a fool of myself, but I felt like people were kind of taking advantage of him. I don't want to say taking advantage of him, but I felt like people were making fun of him.
Yeah.
And
problem is, so he would
and look, he was he was obviously taking the bait. I mean, he was setting the bait himself and then taking it.
He's not a very violent person, but he did try and stance someone. And then we were outside and we were all just goofing around a bit of like a group of me and one other girl. And he was just like walking around doing this. And I was like, that's it, mate, flex. And he looked at me and he went, all right, let's go. But he was like kind of serious. And I was like, no. And he started running. I'm like, no. Oh, fuck. So I just ran. I had to.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Stop.
I remember that.
I didn't mean anything. And my beret fell off. Even though I was in England, I was wearing someone's beret. And I was going around like trying to find my beret and I found it in the end. I was like, I was just, it's fine. He was like, it's all right. It was like.
It's all that running.
Dude, it was.
Just made him yak. Yeah, no, he was gone.
Dude, he was on the floor. You could have done this, like, and he would not have woken up.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. No, he was sauced.
To be fair, his team came third, and I love how Mitchell put the medal around him when he was passed out. He was like, Starting calling the Fort Mitchell, just lifted his head up, put it around, put it back down. I was like, all right, let's get him in the Uber.
So did he? Oh, okay, yeah. So he did leave. Yeah, okay.
Well, he didn't take an Uber home because he got on the Uber and they opened the car door about 15 meters away from Mitch's house and went, yeah, and like.
Oh God.
What? And another Uber bloke came out and he was like, oh, you know, I have to charge you for this. It wasn't my Uber, it was someone. It was a girl at the party, and I said to him, I don't see any yak on that seat. He's like, I do. I was like, I don't. And then like we were like, I was
wow.
like, I'm not gonna let him.
No, yeah, fuck
with,
that.
Like, it was like there was none on. Luckily,
because he obviously knew there was
yeah,
that we were drunk, so
Yeah.
he was trying to be like, oh, there's, you see,
and then we made him cancel it in front of her. But also, before he drove away, I quickly ran around the back of the car and took a photo of his license plate just in case it did come back as a charge.
Good.
Which I checked and I was like, there's no yak. So, either way, good night.
It was a good
I
night.
bet it's
It was a
like
good
4
time.
o'clock, so-
It was fun. We went pretty fucking late, and I didn't pass out, but I fell asleep. And there
did a
was
stack.
some pretty hilarious photos of you guys.
You were sauced because I literally took your glasses off, put on someone else's glasses, which were like black glasses, put a beret on you, and then we stacked about 20 items on you.
It was pretty funny. The photos were
Massive stools,
pretty fucking
socks,
mint.
like cats' toys, cats' beds. And you didn't wake up once.
No, I didn't. But I got home in the end, though. So did you wake me up when you got the Uber, or?
We took all the stuff off, and then some, like, we didn't even touch you, but like 10 minutes later, you kind of like woke up.
I was like, I would have been like, did someone do something?
Kind of, yeah. But then like when I dropped you home in the Uber, you got out and you started walking towards the garage. And you've done this before. So
No.
I was like,
So that one, I messaged you and I said,
yeah,
I'm just.
I know.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like, he's walking the wrong way because you've done that before.
No, and I remember looking at you and I was like, oh, I hope. No, because I remember thinking, I was like, oh, I know I've done this before. I don't want him to think that I'm walking off.
He's like, I'm just getting a saucy.
So I tried to shout. I was like, I'm getting a saucy. I'm getting a saucy.
You just waited in the morning. Like, that's dangerous as fuck.
I was hungry.
Problem is, like, I'm glad you did make me stop because then I went to check my thing and I didn't have my wallet on me, which has my house key in it. I knew I left it at Mitchell's, so I had to get another fucking Uber to Mitchell's. And I had to get my fucking another Uber from there. And it was such a fucking bitch. And the whole trip home cost me like $25.
Jesus.
Because I forgot to, which is normally costs about $8. But the Uber driver was confused and didn't know how to drop me back. And I was like, please.
Oh, fuck's sake.
He was like, no, I can't. It's not coming up. I was like, oh, whatever. So I had to order another one. Eventually I got
So
in.
did you just wait outside my house?
Nah, it was a bit down from there.
Okay.
And then I had to wait outside Mitchell's.
Did you realize what I was doing though?
Yeah, you texted me.
Yeah, because I texted you,
I
but
half considered joining you.
no,
Just to be like, I can't go. I can't leave because I got no...
I texted you and I was like, I'm
yeah.
getting a saucy, but you were like, what? Like you didn't seem
Well,
to
I didn't
get
know what
it,
that
but-
was at the time.
Right. Yeah. No, it was just a roll.
Sausage roll.
Just a.
Did you get in?
Well, no, when it's that late at the servo.
Yeah, you had to get... But did you get served?
Yeah, they served me. Yeah.
One sausage roll, please, mate.
Yeah, literally, I was like, "Can I get a sausage roll, please?"
I tried to eat when I went home, but like my eyes were just hurting and like I just couldn't eat. Like I just was like, I need to go to bed.
Yeah. Oh no, I ate. I literally had like, and I hate that I do
like
this.
14 hours.
I hate that I do this, but I literally had about 3 bites and then I put the sausage roll in the fucking fridge. Like no joke. I had the rest in the morning, so
I can't do that anymore.
it was kind of a win-win.
So I went home and I had my healthy dish, which again I was eating. And I'm like, even
Eating
drunk,
salad.
this isn't nice. Kind of close to it. Kind of close to it. And it wasn't nice, so I'm going to bed.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about our New Year's stuff next episode.
Yeah,
but,
sorry it took so long, folks.
But yeah, I'm also working on stuff. But I did mention earlier in the show that we would talk about New Year's stuff later. But it's going to have to push to next episode because the pub is waiting for us, but Mitch is waiting for us as well. But yeah, our first episode back at the new year. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, good, mate. Good at that.
I think there was some good conversations in there.
Good to see we still have got it. Well, I'm
that was
reading
a nice
Stone's
little episode.
autobiography, so I'm trying to be a better presenter.
Yeah, better broadcaster. I like that. I respect that.
Yeah.
I've tried today to be have quite concise sentences to be very to the point, and I hope I've done that. I think I have.
Okay.
But yeah, no, thanks for co-hosting.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Hopefully this podcast
watching,
is more than 2 views.
folks. Yeah, I know.
How
we go.
knobs are touching.
Ah.
We're going to Moe's to have a few Guinnesses before it closes.
Correct.
Because normally
Is that intentionally rhyming?
Going to Moe's before it closes. Yeah, well, normally it closes like 10, 9:30, depending on how busy it is. So we probably only can get like 3 pints if you're lucky.
We can pump up those numbers.
Those are rookie numbers.
Those are rookie numbers. Thank you very much, everyone. We love you lots. We always appreciate anyone who's stuck around. And you know what? We are going to pump up these numbers.
These nuts.
No, these numbers, these views, we're going to get them up, and we look forward to doing that with all of you. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. Perfect.